Get ready for the ultimate fight night recap. Israel Adesanya's ranking plummets after a brutal loss, and Joe Pyfer is making waves in the middleweight division. Then, we've got a health update on Maycee Barber after a scary KO loss to Alexa Grasso at UFC Seattle. Her team is speaking out. And Dana White doesn't want to hear any whining about the UFC's growing use of artificial intelligence. He's got a message for the critics. Plus, BJJ legend Marcus Buchecha is booking his third UFC bout for a rematch years in the making. You don't want to miss this. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell.
Looking for a fast-charging, ultra-responsive stylus for your iPad? Meet the 2X Fast Charge Active Stylus Pen, designed for 2018 to 2025 Apple iPads. Take your creativity and productivity to the next level. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Israel Adesanya's reign ends. New middleweight rankings after UFC Seattle shockwaves. The middleweight division is reeling after UFC Seattle, and the biggest story is the fall of a legend. Israel Adesanya, once at the pinnacle of the division, has suffered a devastating fourth consecutive loss, this time to rising star Joe Pyfer. This defeat has officially dropped Adesanya out of the top 10 in our latest middleweight rankings, a seismic shift in the division's hierarchy. Robert Whittaker, a former champion and one of the division's greatest, is also feeling the effects of time and a tough schedule, recently dropping a split decision to Reinier de Ridder. De Ridder himself, after a strong start in the UFC, has hit a rough patch, losing back-to-back fights, most recently to KO Borralho. Meanwhile, Joe Pyfer, despite a prior loss to Jack Hermansson, has now secured the biggest win of his career against Adesanya, catapulting him into the top 10 for the first time. Brendan Allen is on a strong comeback trail after 2 losses, with impressive wins over Marvin Vettori and Reinier de Ridder, positioning him near the top 5. Anthony Hernandez, despite a strong win streak, faced a tough night against Sean Strickland, who remains a formidable force after reclaiming dominance with a TKO win over Hernandez. KO Borralho continues to impress with a solid record, bouncing back from a loss with a win over de Ridder. Nasruddin Imavov is on a tear, undefeated in his last 5, with significant wins over top contenders, including Adesanya and Borralho. Dricus du Plessis, after becoming champion, faced a tough challenge against Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev, on the other hand, has solidified his status as a top contender with a dominant win over du Plessis, proving his monstrous capabilities. Fans are buzzing about the shakeup, with many questioning if Adesanya can ever regain his former glory. The rise of Pyfer and the continued dominance of Chimaev are dominating discussions online. But what happened after Maycee Barber's frightening knockout? We've got the exclusive health update you need to see. Next, Dana White's fiery response to AI critics is making headlines. Maycee Barber's health update after scary UFC Seattle knockout. In a moment that sent shockwaves through the arena at UFC Seattle, Maycee Barber suffered a brutal knockout loss to Alexa Grasso. Grasso secured a quick finish in the opening round, catching Barber before a submission attempt was even fully applied. The sequence was particularly alarming as Barber remained motionless for a concerning period, though she eventually regained consciousness and was able to leave the cage. Thankfully, Barber's team has since provided reassuring updates. Shared via her Instagram stories, her camp emphasized that while it wasn't their night, they are learning from the experience and preparing for a stronger comeback. This loss snaps Barber's impressive 7-fight winning streak, her first defeat since February 2021, which was also against Grasso. At just 27 years old, the question remains whether Barber can make the necessary adjustments to reach elite status in the highly competitive flyweight division. Fans are flooding social media with messages of support for Barber, eager to see her return. The fight community is weighing in on whether she can overcome this setback and challenge for the title. Now, get ready for Dana White's no-holds-barred response to fans complaining about AI in UFC promotions. You won't believe what he said. And later, a BJJ legend is back in the octagon for a rematch years in the making. Dana White tells anti-UFC fans to shut the F.K. up. The UFC's increasing use of artificial intelligence for promotional materials has sparked backlash from some fans, but UFC president Dana White is having none of it. Following UFC Fight Night Seattle, where AI-generated promos were noticeable, White addressed the criticism head-on. He dismissed the complaints, stating that AI is the future and that the UFC will continue to utilize it, regardless of fan sentiment. White clarified that while Paramount Plus does create some of its own promotional spots, the UFC handles the majority of its production, including artwork, music, and video content, internally. He emphasized that the promotion is not dictated by its broadcast partners. His blunt message to the critics: shut the F.K. up and watch the fights. Interestingly, while the UFC embraces AI for some promos, their most celebrated human-made content, like the UFC 326 BMF belt promo, is prominently featured on their YouTube channel, with AI-generated promos notably absent. The fighter and fan reactions are mixed, with some supporting White's forward-thinking approach and others agreeing with the fans that human artistry should be prioritized. The debate over AI in sports promotion is heating up. But before we move on, did you catch the health update on Maycee Barber after her scary KO? We've got the details. And get ready for a massive fight booking. BJJ legend Marcus Buchecha is set for his next UFC bout. BJJ legend Marcus Buchecha books third UFC fight in rematch bout. Get ready for a highly anticipated rematch, as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu legend Marcus Buchecha is set to make his third walk to the UFC octagon. He's scheduled to face Max Gimnes at UFC Fight Night 274 on April 25th in Las Vegas. This bout is a rematch of their 2019 IBJJF World Championship grappling match, adding an extra layer of intrigue. Buchecha, a decorated grappling champion, holds a 5-1 MMA record and is seeking his first official UFC win after a debut loss to Martin Bude and a draw against Kennedy Nzechukwu. Prior to his UFC tenure, he dominated in one championship. Gimnes, who has a 6-2 MMA record, made his debut in November and has a tendency to finish fights quickly, rarely going the distance. This booking comes after Alan Fry withdrew from the bout for undisclosed reasons. The MMA community is excited about Buchecha's return, hoping he can secure a definitive win and climb the heavyweight ranks. Fans are eager to see if Buchecha can replicate his grappling dominance in this MMA rematch. That's all the fight news you need for now, but stick around for our lightning round recap and don't forget to subscribe. Israel Adesanya's tough streak continues, Maycee Barber is recovering after a scary KO, Dana White is pushing back against AI critics, and Marcus Buchecha is back for a rematch. That's your Fight Night update. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, leave a comment with your thoughts, and follow us on all our social media platforms for more exclusive content.